Raiders fans, we have some major moves to break down, and today it is all about the trade that sent Jacoby Myers out of Las Vegas. This is one of those moments that can really make you stop and think about the future of the team because when you look at the details, it becomes clear that the Raiders are thinking long-term. We're not just talking about immediate results or who scores in the next game. This is about building a foundation that could pay off in the seasons ahead. Now, let's dive in because this is a trade that has ripple effects throughout the roster and the draft strategy for the next few years. The first thing you notice is the return the Raiders got, a 4th-round pick and a 6th-round pick. At first glance, some might have expected more, maybe a 2nd or a 3rd-rounder, something that would feel like a bigger immediate win. But here's the thing. If you're managing a team like Las Vegas right now, you have to consider where those picks land. Given the team's projected record and draft position, those 4th and 6th-round selections are going to be in the top 10 of their respective rounds. That changes the value dramatically. Top 10 picks late in the draft often carry more weight than mid-round selections because you have the chance to land players who can contribute immediately or be packaged to move up and acquire an earlier pick. In essence, these are flexible assets, and flexibility is exactly what the Raiders are trying to build into their strategy. Trading Jacoby Myers is not just about the draft, though. It's about vision. This is a team looking beyond the current season. After this trade, the Raiders are projected to have 10 draft picks next year, including picks across every round, with multiple 4ths, 6ths, and even potential compensatory picks in play. That depth of selections is critical when you're trying to rebuild or shore up weak spots. You can address immediate holes, but you can also think ahead to 2026 and 2027, seasons that are shaping up to be pivotal for this franchise. The salary cap picture reinforces this strategy as well, with key contracts structured in a way that keeps major pieces under control for the next couple of years. The team is positioning itself to peak when the core can truly compete at a high level. Now, some fans might look at the trade and feel frustrated. After all, Jacoby Myers has been a familiar presence in Las Vegas, and losing a player you've watched and cheered for is always difficult. But when you dig into the numbers, it becomes clear that this move was almost inevitable. Myers had a challenging season statistically, with inconsistent production over the past few weeks, and chemistry issues with the quarterback have been evident. Even the most optimistic fans knew that while he could deliver in bursts, relying on him as a cornerstone of the offense was risky. In other words, the Raiders are cutting ties with a player who might have reached his ceiling in the current system, and they're using that opportunity to set themselves up with multiple chances to improve through the draft. From a roster perspective, this opens opportunities for other players to step into bigger roles. Dante Dorton Jr. and Alex Bachman are now in positions to see more meaningful snaps. Dorton brings energy and athleticism, giving the team a new option on the outside, while Bachman could take over much of the slot responsibilities that Jacoby previously handled. The effect is immediate. The offense shifts, roles change, and young players get the chance to show what they can do in meaningful situations. Veteran players like Tyler Lockett also benefit, as he now has a clearer path to becoming a central target and a steadying presence for the quarterback. Meanwhile, tight ends like Michael Mayer can expect a larger share of targets, giving the offense more flexibility and balance while testing new combinations that could become core strategies for the future. Looking at the bigger picture, this trade represents more than just numbers on a page or a new name on a roster sheet. It reflects a philosophy. The Raiders are embracing the idea that rebuilding is not just about drafting raw talent, but about creating opportunities and cultivating depth across every position. Each pick is a chance to address a gap or add a player who can be developed into a long-term contributor. And as we consider the team's weaknesses, it is easy to see why this strategy is necessary. The offense has been inconsistent, the defensive depth is thin, and any push toward contention requires careful planning, not just reactive moves. By securing multiple draft picks, the Raiders are essentially banking on flexibility and potential, ensuring they have the pieces to respond to injuries, underperformance, and the unpredictable nature of an NFL season. From the Jaguars' perspective, the trade is equally significant. They addressed an immediate need at wide receiver. acquiring a player who can fit into their offensive system and potentially replace a departing or underperforming target. Jacoby Myers brings experience, familiarity with certain coaching staff, and the potential to make an impact quickly. For Jacksonville, this is a calculated move to strengthen a specific position without mortgaging the future, and it's a reminder that every trade has multiple layers: immediate benefit versus long-term planning. In this case, both sides found value, just in different ways. Financially, the trade also makes sense for both teams. Jacoby's contract is manageable for Jacksonville while freeing up some dead cap space for the Raiders. These moves show how salary management and roster construction go hand in hand in modern football. The Raiders are not just thinking about who plays this season, but also about controlling the future, maintaining flexibility to sign key players, and avoiding situations where money or contract obligations limit their strategic options. It is a complex balancing act, and trades like this are a crucial tool in achieving those goals. Ultimately, the narrative here is clear. This is a team positioning itself for the future while navigating the realities of the present. The trade might sting for fans in the short term, but for those looking at the bigger picture, it is a move that could pay dividends for years to come. The young players who now see increased opportunities have a chance to define themselves. The draft picks acquired give the front office tools to strengthen the roster, and the flexibility created by this maneuver ensures that the Raiders can approach the next several seasons with a clear plan and purpose. It's about hope, strategy, and the patience to build something lasting rather than chasing immediate gratification. The change also underscores a fundamental truth about being a Raiders fan. Every offseason, every trade, and every draft pick is a chance to dream big while understanding the reality of the team's current situation. Fans know the highs and lows of this franchise, and while losing a favorite player can be painful, the excitement comes from watching how the pieces fall into place, how young players rise to the occasion, and how smart moves can set the stage for something special. The organization has shown that it is willing to make tough decisions, prioritize the future, and take calculated risks that could ultimately define the team for the better. Now, as we shift our focus to the winners and losers of the Jacoby Myers trade, it becomes really interesting because this is where the impact of the deal becomes personal to the players and the team dynamics. On the winner's side, Trey Tucker immediately jumps to the top of the list. With Myers gone, Tucker now has the chance to step into a role that could define his career. He has been waiting for opportunities to show the coaching staff and the league what he can do, and now, with more targets coming his way, he can finally prove himself as a reliable weapon in the passing game. It's not just about catching passes, it's about establishing himself as someone the quarterback trusts, someone who can make plays consistently, and someone who could ultimately earn a bigger role and even a new contract extension if he capitalizes on this chance. The potential here is huge. Next up, Jack Bech becomes a clear beneficiary of this trade. Although he has seen limited action so far, moving Myers opens the door for Bech to take on more responsibility. This is a player who has talent and draft pedigree, and the team now has the incentive to integrate him into the offense in a way that maximizes his skill set. More snaps, more targets, and more chances to shine could elevate him from a role player to a key piece of the offensive puzzle. Meanwhile, Michael Mayer also benefits, particularly in two tight end sets. With Myers gone, Mayer can step up as a reliable secondary option, giving the Raiders flexibility to run a more balanced offense while testing combinations that could become core strategies moving forward. The synergy between Mayer, Tucker, and Bech could become a central theme in the Raiders' plan for the next few seasons. Veterans like Tyler Lockett also see advantages. With the departure of the team's most experienced wide receiver, Lockett has the opportunity to solidify his leadership and establish himself as a go-to target. He brings stability, consistency, and a veteran presence that can guide the younger receivers while still contributing significantly to the offense. This is a chance for Lockett to demonstrate that he can anchor the receiving core and help maintain continuity in the passing game despite roster changes. It's a subtle but crucial shift because veteran leadership often determines how well younger players adapt to bigger responsibilities. From a team perspective, the Raiders' strategy becomes increasingly clear. This is about opportunity, depth, and creating competition for every spot on the roster. Players like Dante Dorton Jr. and Alex Bachman now have a platform to prove themselves, not just as backups or role players, but as integral parts of the offense. Dorton can stretch the field and create running lanes, opening up the offense in ways that weren't as feasible before. Bachman can take over slot responsibilities, ensuring that the Raiders don't lose production in critical areas. This reshuffling gives the coaching staff more options and allows for creative schemes that could take advantage of mismatches and capitalize on the strengths of the current roster. But every trade has its downsides, and the losers here are equally important to consider. On the human side, losing Jacoby Myers affects the locker room, chemistry, and morale. He was respected by his teammates, and his departure leaves a gap in leadership that doesn't show up on stat sheets. Pete Carroll and the coaching staff have to navigate this shift carefully, ensuring that the team remains cohesive and motivated while adjusting to new personnel. The loss of a veteran presence can be felt in subtle ways during practice, in the huddle, and in high-pressure game situations. It's a challenge that the Raiders will need to manage as they move forward. From a performance perspective, Geno Smith faces new pressures. He has had flashes of excellence, throwing multiple touchdowns and showing glimpses of rhythm. But losing a familiar target in Myers changes his reads, timing, and comfort level. Smith now has to develop trust with younger and less experienced players while maintaining efficiency and decision-making under pressure. This is a significant adjustment, and how well he adapts will directly impact the team's offensive production in upcoming games. Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator, also faces scrutiny. The offense has been inconsistent, and losing Myers adds complexity to an already challenging situation. Kelly must now integrate these new target distributions and adjust schemes to fit a changing roster, all while trying to get the most out of the players stepping into expanded roles. It's also worth noting that this trade reflects a larger philosophy for the Raiders, balancing immediate needs with long-term planning. The team recognizes that they are in a rebuilding phase, and creating opportunities for young players while securing draft capital is essential to progress. By moving Myers now, the Raiders can develop their depth chart, experiment with new offensive sets, and prepare for future seasons with a combination of draft picks, player development, and cap flexibility positions them to compete at a higher level. This is strategic patience in action, a calculated approach that acknowledges the current struggles while laying the groundwork for potential success. At the same time, the Jaguars' acquisition of Jacoby Myers shows a different type of strategy. They are addressing a current roster need and adding a player who can contribute immediately. Myers has familiarity with certain coaching staff, a reputation for reliability, and the potential to fit seamlessly into Jacksonville's offensive scheme. For them, it's about solving a specific problem and gaining a competitive edge in the present season, while for the Raiders, it's about planning for the seasons ahead. This contrast highlights how trades in the NFL often serve multiple purposes, and both teams can feel like winners depending on perspective. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are turning into a full-blown storm in Las Vegas as news emerges from the Raiders' locker room. According to sources close to the team, head coach Pete Carroll has reportedly broken ties with a current starter after an intense confrontation in the locker room. The details of the clash remain murky, but insiders suggest it escalated beyond a heated debate, leaving both parties at odds and the locker room buzzing with tension. Eyewitnesses described the altercation as more than a simple disagreement over plays or practice habits. Some say Carroll, known for his fiery coaching style, confronted the player over what he perceived as a lack of commitment, while the player allegedly fired back, unwilling to be dismissed or belittled. The exchange, described as explosive by those present, ended with Carroll allegedly declaring that the player isn't coming back. The Raiders organization has remained tight-lipped, issuing only a brief statement that they are aware of reports regarding internal disagreements and are committed to maintaining professionalism. Yet, Sources claim that the rift is deep, and the player in question may indeed be facing an uncertain future with the team. Fans are already speculating wildly about the identity of the starter at the center of the controversy. Social media platforms are flooded with guesses, ranging from key offensive playmakers to defensive anchors, each theory sparking heated debates among Raiders supporters. Meanwhile, analysts are weighing the potential fallout. Could this internal conflict affect the team's performance this season? Could it even signal the start of a larger shakeup in the locker room? Veteran reporters note that conflicts of this nature, while rare, aren't unprecedented in the NFL. High-stakes pressure, clashing personalities, and intense expectations can sometimes ignite sparks that threaten to split teams from within. The CARROLL player feud, according to those close to the situation, could be one of the most dramatic incidents of the current season, especially given CARROLL's reputation for demanding excellence and loyalty. As of now, both the Raiders and the player have remained out of public comment. But one thing seems certain: the fallout from this locker room drama could define not just the remainder of the season, but perhaps the future trajectory of both Pete Carroll and the unnamed starter. For now, Raiders fans are left in suspense, watching closely for any sign of resolution or further sparks in what is shaping up to be one of the league's juiciest off-field stories. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.